Hey guys, welcome back to Critical Flick. Today I'm going to review Blue Beetle. So Blue Beetle is the newest DC superhero film, and as you can expect from the title, it tells the origin story of Blue Beetle. And that's one thing I have to say about this movie. I loved that it kind of took the origin story and it got it done really quickly. We really kind of jump into the action. There isn't a ton of build up. I feel like some of the problems that origin stories have in the past is it takes forever to kind of get there, but I think they did a good job kind of just throwing you in with this character. Even though I kind of worked in the comic book industry, I don't have a ton of exposure to Blue Beetle. And in this movie, they actually pay homage to the original Blue Beetle and some kind of those original more hokey comics. They play into the 80s aesthetic a lot, whether it be the actual neon drenched synth filled set pieces or even having some older, electronics showing up and out the film. There's a power glove at one point. I thought it was kind of cool how they utilized that into the story. Zola Maridueña does a pretty solid job playing Blue Beetle, being kind of our hero. He's a very charismatic and likable person. I think he does a good job kind of making us root for him. But I think where this movie really excels is leaning into the cultural and family elements. This movie has a lot of heart, and it felt like they framed the idea of this family and their struggles to help elevate the film. We feel like we're really rooting for them. We understand what they're going through, because I think without that, this movie could have been very lackluster and kind of just a throwaway superhero film. And I say that because the plot is very basic. Basically, we have an evil corporate overlord played by Susan Sarandon. She doesn't have a lot of depth. We've seen this time and time again where the bad guy's trying to get the power of the good guy and use it to create an army or take over the world or make money. So that really didn't add anything to the film. But I think when you go into the family elements and their struggles in particular, it really has some moments that are pretty impactful and help elevate it from being just, like I said, like a throwaway movie. As far as the visuals go, I think the CGI elements looked better than a film like The Flash. That was my biggest knock on that movie. I felt like at times it looked like a video game or felt like it was kind of unfinished. This doesn't really do that. It is very stylized, like I said, with kind of the neon, the blue, the lightning. It looks cool, and there's a lot of cool night sequences, some fight scenes, and I think it works well. But I do like when they use the practical effects. The suit does have some practical elements to it, which I personally really appreciate. It makes it feel more real and more tangible. As far as the comedy goes, I think it really works for what this movie is. I grew up with George Lopez and his comedy. I find him really funny, so I think I personally liked it a lot, and it helps, like I said, follow kind of the cultural elements, and it helps lean into the movie. It doesn't feel like it's kind of forced in or cheesy. It feels very in place in the movie, so I personally enjoyed it. I don't know if it'll be for everybody. My theater really thought this movie was hilarious. There's some elements with the grandmother in this movie that are really funny, and it always tries to kind of have some heartfelt moments. It reminded me a lot of kind of the ending of Shazam, when you have your family coming together, creating those kind of outcast moments. So I think that worked well. And the movie actually does have a little bit to say. It kind of leans into the idea of gentrification, of big corporations pushing out smaller people, whether it be people in the minority community or small businesses. So it leans into that without ever being like preachy. It helps work for the story because of who our characters are and what they're going through. It didn't feel like it was like shoehorned in just to be in there. So overall, if I were to rate Blue Beetle, I would actually give it an 8 out of 10. It was way better than I expected. It may be a little bit higher on my scale, but I do think I was going expecting a really just throwaway basic superhero movie, and I loved the aesthetic of it, the style of it. I really was rooting for the characters. I really loved the heart, because I feel like so many times that feels cheesy or forced in a superhero film. This felt very much like movies from the early to mid 2000s, and I know for some people that they may not enjoy that, but that creates almost a nostalgia for me, so I enjoyed that in this film in particular. So if you check out Blue Beetle, let me know what you thought about it. Did you like it as much as me? Did you like it less? I always love to hear everybody's opinions, particularly if you really didn't like this movie, because I enjoyed it so much. I would love to hear what you think. So again, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, and see you guys next time.